All right. Hey, what's going on, everybody? This is Anime Love, and we're just going to talk a little bit about verses today. More so just about the lack thereof. So, as I'm sure a lot of you know, that verses manga chapter 26 has been canceled for this month. So I just want to let you guys know I was just as surprised as you guys. I'm sure a lot of you were probably wondering, like, man, is he going to put anything out, about how he feels or whatever? But I was busy. I really didn't have too much time to dwell on it because I was busy with other things, and I had to kind of just put it on the back burner. So, so I actually found out from one of my comments, someone had put, hey, sorry to be the bearer of bad news, but looks like we're not getting a chapter or verses this month. And I'm not gonna lie, guys, when I saw that, and I just kind of knew, I was like, this guy's not messing with me. He's probably serious. So when I saw that, I was just like,
Fuck you.
Fuck you.
What?
Fuck you.
Fuck you.
So that's how you guys know me. I'm a very passionate person. I'm a very emotional person, and I do wear my emotions on my sleeve from time to time. And my initial fucking response was that I was pissed off. It was just like, what the fuck, man. But like I said, I didn't really have too much time to dwell on it, to think about it. As a lot of you know, I'm like, here's the thing, guys. When you see some of these other YouTubers, and let's just throw out a few examples out there. When you see YouTubers like Shonen, Mastar, Anime Anxiety, I'm speculating, of course, but they're on YouTube so much, you just kind of have to assume that they don't work a job, because for them to be able to put out as much content as they put out and work a job would be crazy. So you assume that they don't work a job. I'm pretty sure, because again, guys, I'm a really big fan of Mastar. So I used to watch a lot of his videos. And I remember, he was kind enough to share a little bit of his life experience. And I think he said that he quit his job, put all of his faith into the fact that he was going to be able to grow his channel. But I'm pretty sure he said that on, like in the meantime, that his wife was going to take care of the bills. So, and again, I'm just speculating. This is from a video a long time ago. I could have swore he said his wife had his back, which is amazing. Great marriage, great relationship, great support, and I wish I had that. But unfortunately, I don't, if I don't work, if I don't make things happen, then everything kind of goes to shit. So I don't really have a lot of time to sit here at the computer. I have to get up and I got to go to work, so I didn't have too much time to dwell on it. Had to go to work, had to focus on work. But now that a couple of days have passed, I've had time to think about it. My initial response was being upset. However, my feelings about it now is it's okay. And if the author won, because I kind of feel like this is probably more so on the author won than it is the illustrators, Kiyotaro Azuma, Yusuke Murata, and whoever illustrates for Bug Ego. I think it's more so the author won. Okay. Now, the reason I'm okay with this is because the author won some time ago had did something similar, not for quite as long, but he had taken a break, and he had put out a very personal statement stating that he was suffering from asthma symptoms, and he just really wasn't feeling well. And look, man, as a person who goes through health problems myself, I have things going on that shit, there you go, seem to be chronic. My doctors, I don't know. I guess I got conditions that are new to humankind, because they can't seem to put their finger on exactly what it is, but yet I just suffer day in and day out. from, sometimes debilitating symptoms. And, at this point, guys, I have, chronic conditions or diseases that require pain management, and asthma is one of those. So if the author one is suffering from chronic asthma, and he's, who knows, he might have some other health problems and stuff like that. I get it that sometimes you got to take a step back. You got to step away from what you're doing and just deal with your health, because that's the number one important thing, right? Like, is the author one tending to his health and making sure that he stays alive, basically, right? Secondary would be, of course, we all want him to get back to the stories, but I mean, really, guys, at the end of the day, what really truly matters is that man's life and his health. If he says today or tomorrow, hey guys, I'm so sorry, but I have to quit writing because of my health, I just got to focus on that, then, I'd be okay with that, because again, I can come from a place of understanding. It would be disappointing. It would be sad because he's such a phenomenal writer, but I'd be okay with that. I really would. To throw out a few examples, right here, let me grab my phone. Just to throw out a few examples, guys. Let's see here. I remember that there was a South Korean artist. I think this is him right here. Okay. Yes. So there is a South Korean artist named Kim Jong G. I think that's how you pronounce it. And I remember following, like watching a few of his videos and just saw that this guy is an amazing, or I guess I should say was an amazing artist, right? He looked like an amazing artist. If you look at him, he wasn't obese or anything like that. But unfortunately, guys, as amazing as this guy was, he ended up dying on October 3rd of 2022 in Paris, France. And I believe that his cause of death was like a heart attack. Okay. The guy was only 47 years old. Okay. And he was South Korean. And, from what we can tell, right, at least from what I hear, the diets that, Koreans, the Japanese, the Chinese, Thai, a lot of those Asian cultures' diets are pretty healthy, they don't have high rates of obesity and things like that. So it's like they got a good diet, for the most part. They're not overweight or anything like that, but it's almost like these incredible people, they essentially work themselves to death. Because if you watch this guy was a drawaholic. Okay, he always drew. I think he had a book with a lot of his illustrations in it, and the way he would sign it is by drawing like a personal image for that particular book, and he would sign it. And I mean, this guy just never stopped drawing and stuff, and it was just his passion. But it's like, the guy was like working himself to death, apparently, to die at 47 is just really young, and he was a fucking phenomenal artist. And it's one of those things where it's like, man, if someone as talented and somewhat important as this guy can, his health problems can, just squeak past his doctors, like, it's like, what chance does a regular person who's not as important, not as special have, So it's like, you can't really rely on doctors to keep you alive nowadays. It's pretty apparent, in my opinion, that most doctors don't really give a fuck. They're really doctors, for the money, and they're just looking to make money off of you. They're not going to really, monitor your health and make sure that you're doing what you need to do, and make sure you got the medicine that you need or the procedures that you need. That's all on you. You have to take the time to rest. You have to take the time to go and see doctors when you're having symptoms or a health problem or whatever. So the fact that the author one is taking time to, I'm assuming at the very least, rest is a good thing, because without him, there is no stories. There is no One Punch Man. There is no Versus. There is no Bug Ego, So I'm okay with him taking this time. 2 months. Well, okay, so here's the thing. So apparently One Punch Man is on a 2-month hiatus. However, I would assume that if One Punch Man is on a 2-month hiatus, I would assume the same is probably going to be said for Versus and Bug Ego. Now, personally, guys, and I don't mean to, catch anybody with any strays or anything like that. I have nothing personal against Bug Ego, but I don't really care about Bug Ego. I glanced at it. Doesn't really seem like my kind of story, and that's okay, but I know there's a lot of people out there who do enjoy Bug Ego from what I can tell. I don't really care about Bug Ego, but as far as Versus goes, that sucks, man. Bro, fucking 2 months of no Versus, it does suck. It really does. Oh my God, bro. Like, we were barely getting it once a month, and now we might have to wait 2 months for a new chapter. It does suck, but again, I understand that, it has to happen. It has to happen and stuff. And I don't want happening to one what happens to other people. The guy who made Dragon Ball Z, bro, I think he was only in his 60s, I want to say, when he passed. And he's, Japanese. Again, the Japanese are supposed to have a really good diet and stuff like that. I mean, the guy had a lot of health problems, bro. Like, these people can work themselves to death. So it is important that they take this time. So let's all try to remember that, before we get too, frustrated. And I'm talking to myself in this regard too, because, I know I can get very passionate and stuff. Now, on a side note, Mastar did put out a video where he kind of talked about this, because he covers One Punch Man. Ironically, he did, he brought up Versus and Bug Ego, which I thought was interesting. I thought he was just going to bring them up, but he actually kind of started to elaborate on Versus. Now, this is how out of touch with Versus Mastar is. He said, yeah, Versus, it's becoming really popular. I think they're on like chapter 15 or something.
Additionally, the author, he's working on a ton of other projects as well, including Versus, which is gaining a lot of popularity right now. I think they're on around chapter 15 or so, and they just introduced like this god being in the story. So it's picking up a little bit.
It's like, no, dude, we're not on chapter 15. We're waiting for chapter 26. You're about 10 chapters behind, maybe even a little bit more than that, because some of the chapters have like 2 parts and stuff like that. But anyway, he said, so he I don't know, I don't even know if he's been following it, which again is kind of bizarre, because he said that he really liked it. He thought it was really good.
What this manga is going to be is an all-out multiversal war on the same planet between just about every threat, every fantasy, every medieval, every superhero sort of story and characters you could ever think of are all going to be battling against each other. And what I'm really curious about, again, is what is Hollow? Like, how is he going to become the savior? How is he going to get strong enough? I mean, there's definitely some sort of power in him. This panel is just freaking badass and awesome. There's definitely something in him that's going to make him the hero, but he can't really kill, a weak demon or an AI robot by himself yet. And he's missing an arm and his sword is broken. So what kind of power up is he going to get? What's going to be the lore and the story there? I'm very curious to see. I actually really like how One has written this, because the stakes are so high after only 2 chapters. We already have so many characters. The plot is laid out. And now we're just left with a bunch of questions and sitting on our hands waiting for answers. I mean, One really is the GOAT for only 2 chapters. Granted, they are extremely long. He was able to develop just such a clear and easy to understand story with incredibly high stakes with just 2 chapters. It's actually incredible, and I can't wait to see more. I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I'll see you for Versus Chapter 3.
he called Yusuke Murata and the author one gods. So if you think that the author one is a god, then why would you not follow his other work? I like Mastar, bro. You know, like if Mastar sees this, Mastar, I like you, bro. I really do. But, you know, I think a real, not to say that we're friends, but you know what I'm saying? Like a real friend or a real person is going to, you know, is going to be honest with you. And, you know, it's just some of the stuff that you say is a little contradicting. And as a fan, it was really disappointing when you stopped covering Versus. And I heard you explain that. You said that, you know, you felt like the views didn't really match up.
A lot of people ask me like, hey, you should review it. And the thing is, guys, I kind of have to just make videos on things that will get views. Because of the YouTube algorithm, I can't just make videos about anything I want and just expect to get views. Like, it really doesn't work like that. And if you have too many scattered views among your channel, it makes your channel look like really unhealthy. Like if I have one video as 100,000 views, and my next video gets 2,000 views talking about Versus, that actually like really hurts my channel big time. So I kind of have to just go where the views are, essentially, which is mainstream anime and Dragon Ball. So the next 2 months are gonna pretty much suck for me.
Which I think is a little bizarre, because if you look at your views for chapter 1 and chapter 2, I mean, I think it was even chapter 1 has like over 300,000 views, and then your chapter 2 has like almost 100,000 views. That's a lot of views to me. I mean, that's about what your One Punch Man views get. So I don't see, you know, you explain that, you know, if the views don't add up, then it makes your channel look really bad. It messes up your algorithm and stuff. But from what I can tell, it looks like your views were matching with your One Punch Man views. So I don't know. I don't know what the real deal is. But you know what? I do appreciate you, you know, touching on it. I appreciate Mastar kind of letting us know why he stopped, reviewing it and stuff like that. I thought that was pretty cool. You know, like, I don't think there's anything wrong with just, you know, being honest with people and just kind of letting them know what's happening and stuff. So he talked about it. He talked about Versus and why he stopped reviewing it and stuff, and that was pretty cool. So but yeah, so he said that, you know, One Punch Man is going on a 2-month hiatus, so I would assume the same is going to be for Versus and for Bug Ego. So right now, guys, I'm going to assume that we're not going to get a new chapter, or specifically chapter 26 of Versus, until July 26. Now, hopefully I'm wrong. Hopefully, as far as Versus goes, we only got to wait an additional month, and hopefully we get the new chapter June 26. But I mean, right until I'm told otherwise or shown otherwise, I'm going to assume that we're not going to get the new chapter until July 26. So that's a long time. You know, that's a lot of content that we're missing out on. But, you know, what can you do? What can you do, man? Yeah, that's pretty much it, guys. I just wanted to give you guys my thoughts on it. You know, I'm in the same boat with you guys. It sucks. You know, it really does. But at the end of the day, that's a man's life, you know, and it's just more important for him to be okay than for us to get a story, you know. So hopefully the author one is okay. Hopefully he's tending to his health and stuff like that. Who knows, man? He could be perfectly fine, and he could just be like, nah, I just want to take a vacation. Like, I just want to, I don't know, I want to fucking go to an island and, you know what I'm saying? I don't know, fuck some bitches or something like that. Like, I don't know. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. But if it is health related, you know, I hope he's okay, and I hope he's taking care of himself. And then, you know, lastly, shit. I know I'm not really too organized in this video, so I do apologize. But so we got chapter 1 of Versus. We got chapter 2 of Versus. Okay. And then I hope you guys did not forget, but they did release chapter 3 of Versus. Okay. So we got 3 chapters, man. You know, I know we got access to the images online and stuff, but you know, don't forget to support the author one, don't forget to support this story, because the more money, the better this story does on the sales. I would assume the quicker we would be to get a anime adaptation of this story. And I mean, to have an anime of this would be fucking amazing. I just really hope, though, that if we get an anime adaptation of this, that it does a whole lot better than One Punch Man anime, because One Punch Man anime does not get the respect it deserves. We still have not gotten season 3, and bro, I don't even want to get into that, man. So, but yeah, so don't forget to collect your Versus manga. Okay. It's just really cool to have, and it helps the author one out, helps him, with his stories, probably getting them anime. I think that's it, guys. I think that's it. Sorry again, sorry that I don't put out too much. Again, guys, we only got 25 chapters of Verses. I can only put out so much content in regards to the material that we have. Like, you just don't want to overkill. And personally, when I go to Reddit, I mean, guys, they're constantly talking about the same fucking thing. I think that this is the strongest enemy, or I think that these are the weakest enemies, and I think that this is what's going to happen in the next chapter. Like, it's like, okay, bro, we get it. We're fucking ranking them and stuff like that. But it's like, of course, a lot of people are going to disagree for their own reasons and shit. But how long are we going to talk about that? Let me answer this real quick, guys. Another thing that I find really irritating about Reddit specifically, because this is where I see a lot of them pop up, but I guess just in general, I hate it when people take the original art from the manga and they try to put their own little fucking spin on it, and they'll, fucking doodle on it and change the image to make it look like something else. Or, like, I just hate it when people kind of take the content into their own hands and they try to make their own fucking images and stuff. Because personally, it usually looks like dog shit, and I feel like you're kind of ruining the images of the original content, So I can kind of see when content creators, the people who create these stories and these characters, I can see why they get upset when people like try to make their own anime of it with their characters, or they try to do their own fucking like little comic book of their own little story with the characters. It's like, dude, they're not your fucking characters. You didn't make them up. Okay. And you're kind of ruining the characters and how people see these characters with your shitty fucking art. Okay. So I really wish people will stop doing that. I fucking hate it when I go on Reddit and I see somebody take an original image from Versus and they fucking doodle on it and they make it look like dog shit. It pisses me the fuck off. I despise it. And the crazy part is, if I call somebody out on it and I'm like, bro, stop doing this, they get all fucking sad and start crying and, man, just let us imagine, let us just play around, blah. No, you need to stop fucking ruining the content. Fucking assholes. Man, I don't know. But all right, guys, that's it. That's all I got, man. Again, guys, I wear my emotions on my sleeve, man. I really, really do. So, you're either going to like me or you're going to hate me, but whatever it is, I'm just going to be who I am. But if you guys like this content, hit like. Sometimes you just want to hear about Versus a little bit. If you want to see more content like this, hit subscribe, and I will see you guys later. Bye.